Hello guys, welcome to today's video. Today I would like to discuss on how we can read the Kinesis streaming data using Glue Spark streaming and write into S3 and create a table out of the target data written in S3. First we need to create a Kinesis stream, which is very easy. I have explained in the previous video, you can watch that. And second, you have to create a streaming source table, which I'll explain you now. In Glue, under Glue tables, create a table with the source as Kinesis stream. That's it. And third, create a Glue job and read from the Kinesis source table directly. And fourth, write into S3. And fifth, crawl the data from the S3 and create a table in Athena. That's it. These are the 5 steps we need to follow.
So let's see how we can handle the streaming data in Glue. First we need to have the Kinesis stream, and if you want to know about Kinesis stream, I have video which is recorded just before that. It's in YouTube. You can search in my channel how to create a stream and how to push the data into the stream and how to consume the data into the stream using Python. I have done. So I've used the same Python code to push the data into the stream. So I have created a stream, which is fine. Now we need to go to Glue and create a table for the stream. Add table. Database. It should be a standard Glue. The source of this should be Kinesis, my account, and select the stream name. See, I got the stream name. That's it. And the data format I am getting from the stream is JSON. So I'll keep the JSON as it is. And here, if you want, you can give the schema directly from here. Edit schema, and you can give each and every field, upload the file as well. Or else you can add each and every field here, the column name, data type and all. This is one way. Or else you can keep the schemas in the Glue schema registry, and you can use that as well. I have my schema in Glue schema registries. Now if I go to schema registry, so I have my schema here. I will just select it. If you want, you can create a schema here and keep it so that we can track the versions and everything. So just the schema name and registry is what we need to create, one registry, and the type of the schema, it supports only these three. And compatibility mode, whether we can go to the previous version of the schema or not. First, suppose on day one we have created a schema and your streaming source is has been updated and it is adding some new column or removing some columns and all. So if you want to go backward or only forward, all these kind of compatibility modes are there. You need to select and give the schema here. If you go to this link here, they have clearly mentioned how the schema structure of the JSON should be. This is how it should be. So all your fields you can mention here. Like if you have the name, last name, age, and all the properties, this is a unique title for this, and the type is object, and the ID is the unique identifier. I mean, this can be the URL from where you are getting this data. I mean, ideally they keep this as a URL. And this is the schema, which version of the JSON they are using, draft 0 version type of the JSON. So that's what they have mentioned here. So this is this one. Similarly, you can write and paste it here, and you can create the schema so that you can track the versions. In case if you get the newer version, you can update, edit, and everything. So that's how you can create a schema and give as it is. So I'll just use my schema registry only here. I've just used mine only, personal schema, which we have seen there. That's it. I'm using only version 1 because I never updated it. That's it. So now I created a streaming table with the streaming source I have. See, in my schema I have all these columns and the data type mentioned. So they all have come here as it is. That's it. So this is how we create a table. So we have created a streaming source table, which is done. Now we can go to Glue and write down the code. So this Kinesis is my Glue code. It's so simple and straightforward. I am not applying any much transformations. If you see, I'm just importing whatever is needed. These are the Glue configurations, and I have my output path. I mean, where I need to write that streaming data. This is my bucket name. This path inside Kinesis data I need to write, and there is checkpoint location. Checkpoint location we need for all the streaming sources, whether it is Kafka or Kinesis or anything, so that it can track till which offset and from which shard it has written, and all those kind of information will be tracked in this checkpoint location. So what I'm saying is, inside this path, create another folder called cp checkpoint and write all the checkpoint information over there, and the temporary path. And now this is where it starts. So if you read, I am reading from the Glue catalog with that streaming table, because that streaming table which I created before is tagged to the Kinesis stream. So I can read from that table directly. And the starting position I have given a stream origin, which means read from starting. If you give latest, only the latest records will be read. So infer the schema. So this Kinesis data, this is the data frame, and in which all the streaming data will be stored. So this is the data frame, and all our stream data will be in this data frame only. Just reading from the streaming table which we have created a minute ago. That's it. And for this data, I am calling a for each batch method. I mean, in Spark we have for each and for each batch, right? So I'm just adding this for each batch method and calling a function called process data, calling a process batch method, and inside that method I am writing into S3, and I'm making sure that this window is written for every this process. I mean, this method is being triggered for every 20 seconds. That's what I mentioned before. It was 100. I just made it to 20. For every 20 seconds, just read all the data for every 20 seconds and call this method. Read all the data for every next 20 seconds and call this method. So in this method, you can write any kind of transformations. You can add new column. You can add some audit columns. Everything, whatever you want. So in this method, we are just writing into target. So I'm just checking if the count is greater than 0. That means if we got some data only, just enter. If not, no need to do all the calculations. You can just skip it. So I just got the data frame, and that data frame, if you see, I'm using glue context dot write dynamic data frame from options. This is how we use the glue dynamic data frame to write into any path. So this data frame write into S3, and the path is a final path. So final path is nothing but this output path plus a folder named called person data, and the partition called ingest day equal to current date's data, current date, which is 24. So that's it. So when I run it, and one more thing is, you need to select the type as Spark streaming here. If you select the type as Spark, it can't handle the Kinesis source. So it should be Spark streaming. That's it. And when I run it, so it's running. Now I'll go to mine and I'll just push the data. I'm just putting some data into Kinesis. How to put the data? It's there in my previous video. Using Python, I'm just putting the data, personal information. That's it. So now the data is being, so first we have created a streaming source, which is 0.1, and we are in the Glue, we are reading from the streaming source table. And now we are pushing the data into streaming source. So now we should have the data into our S3. See, now we have a data also, person data. In this partition, we have the data. So if we for every 20 seconds, it creates this run file. So in this 20 seconds, we don't have any data from the stream that point in time. So it created 0 bytes. So it has data in this. So it created 2.4 bytes. So for every 20 seconds, we'll get one run file. That's it. So now we can just create a crawler out of it, and we can read this personal data folder and create a table. That's it. So now if we go to here, let's go to crawlers. Let's create a new crawler. Kinesis crawler. That's it. The data source should be S3. And we need to select the path. So I'm just selecting this folder to crawl all the data inside this folder. That's it. So I got it. Crawl all subfolders, add an S3 data source. That's it. And I need to select some role which has the permissions to crawl S3. That's it. And choose the data, table name and all default we can give. Next, and create a crawler. That's it. I have created a crawler and just run the crawler so that the table will be created in Athena. So the crawler is successfully completed. Now let's go to Athena
and let's select our DB, and we got our table here, so we can view the data. That's it. If you see, whatever the data we have generated, we are getting here. So it's so simple to create a table using streaming source like Kinesis in Glue. That's it. Thank you so much for watching.